For Fiona. History hand stretched me round without measuring, tilted me sideways inside, said it never suited hats anyway, but I never suited it, and I've been made jaunty just for the night, or whatever a night consists of, when it's pounding, coquettish, not slumped, no, arranged. So that even my sluggishness is soluble, or nearly, okay? Turning from names to numbers in a one by one if you play your noise right. She always did, and she made me a star out of old socks we unraveled on the floor one night because we needed a project, which wasn't us and couldn't be construed as such. There was a violent tilting, almost like a brain freeze, but its eyebrows were good, so we complimented it, slept with it, told it we couldn't wait to maybe grab a drink with it someday next time we were in town, we'll let it know. My name never suited you anyway, I mean, your lips. I think my mum told me I'm a winter and you're a desk calendar, but you said it anyway and I arranged myself so best to hear. In fact, I think I tried it too, and hey, how have you been? And I can't breathe now. Maybe I could lend you that book you pretended you'd read. Come over, I'll call you an apple. You won't have to measure it out, I'm ancient and stretching still. Okay. This next one is the only love poem I've ever written because I am bitter. It's probably my least favorite poem I've ever written, but I like to read it to make myself feel really uncomfortable because I think it's a valuable experience. So it doesn't have a name. There were, in fact, mushrooms growing in the whatever you might call the wasteland, but in miniature, but like outside your front door, just to the left of the paving stones. And I told her it was muggy, but she said to wear a jumper, you never know, and I made you examine the back of my neck today, like gestured with expectation, and it stuck. See, there are people I love in this room, and some of them share things like clothes and jokes which are clothes or the other thing. See, there are people I love in this room with whom I share things. See, there are poems in this room containing jokes or clothes, and when the Venn diagrams don't align like two moons equidistant on opposite half lemon worlds, I wonder. But I wasn't there for half the references, and still I love them fondly because they happened, and they happened to people I love in this room, and some of them share things like memories I don't have, but they do, and I laugh anyway. So when I'm talking, wearing my woman on my sleeve without accessibility, I mean, never mind. I mean that joy is accessible if offered rare in the kitchen for minutes only, like when all you can bring yourself to cook is pasta, in minutes, in dressing gowns, intimately, to be eaten back in bed, and it wasn't that an exaltation I seem incapable of calling anything by its name except in Catholic. Like most days I am wittier than you, in the most tender way. I mean there are women coming into the shop for their girlfriends, knowing she prefers a plainer sock and coffee black, 2 sugars, or peppermint on anxiety days, and on days when you have taken modafinil I can tell because you get to the pun before I do, and I feel like 50 tiny knowing fists or paws. About accessibility and Venn diagrams and sex, pasta, sex, God, I couldn't stop to look at the mushrooms because I was tensing my bladder, and that's what trying is, a swollen, misjudged organ. And sometimes I feel like Maman, Bourgeois, 1999, and sometimes I feel like the space between her legs, all of them. Okay. Got 2 more, I just didn't decide on an order, and I don't think it's an appropriate order. This one also doesn't have a title. I wrote it as part of a longer thing about surveillance and bodies a while ago, but I kind of extracted this as something that I thought could maybe work on its own. Maybe it does. So, virtual reality is virtually real, in which the adverbial mutation has taken on a different genetic code, like literally. Run the dictionary.exe, run.exe, from man sitting at the machine thinking about what he'd like to do to issue threats. I couldn't see my body rendered in the airport display, but I could see the grain in the organic matter of the eyes trained on the screen. What does that mean for the phenomenology of fucking, or body bracket, image bracket, when my neckline is low today and the infrared could never pick up on the nervous sweat sheen topping my chest? This is neo-objectification. The skeleton is now a sex object. Electromagnetic waves not visible to the naked eye are pheromones abstracted from the source. It comes down to a bad resolution, more satisfying violation without even having to touch. Image, SRC equals close bracket. You can't see inside yourself, close image, like he can. Now turn around 180 now, this is a random spot check, of course, but we need to be thorough to reduce threat levels, we can take no risks. Defining bodily metadata twofold as A, abject, liquid, part and not part, B, subjective reaction and personal effects. Am I crossing the road to avoid you? Guarding my drink in a club, refusing your kindly offers, refusing your offers, readily available should you interact, readily assumable should I continue to exist, not for public consumption and retention, and yet. And this one I wrote this week as an experiment, as in I wrote it at 4 a.m. 2 funerals and a great number of boats. It was a scandal, she said, the trend, so I closed. And the scandals found their way in regardless, till the house was bulging with it. Baba Yaga on swollen ankles, slumped forwards, walking. Haven't you heard the news? They're shutting down Craigslist, that personals are to be yelled at a minimum of 84 decibels continuously until person spotted finds you, or until some passerby is so tired of it all, they don a disguise and pretend to be found anyway. More interminable beginnings like all my friends on the 100th anniversary, April 14th, children's children in their paddle boats, panning for the gold ghost of her hull. I too have a distinctive fourth funnel with no use, no smoke, no fire. Flat water bottle book-like, propped up against a nightingale, the anecdotes don't sit right, they rub like we did. Hearse down the yard, my first seat second-hand and the hymns sifting. Old candy floss carts, old candy floss stuck, older, more dead. These mobile homes like my parents introducing each other to their cousin. Hurtling down the yard, I dropped out when I couldn't differentiate between my translation exercises and my sexuality, parts of me brutal-toothed, unconfused, because if I let it complicate, well, more power to the book burnings, and if you don't like the last one, you'll never make the papers. Your arrival is a cotton bud. Alison storming into the church, condemning us to dog murder, surreal, down on one knee, 20 WKDs, and let's do it all again, the norm, but this time on a boat. Ask you what you're doing with the white goods. He's not even cold yet, but his girlfriend tells me I could be a model. My white blood cells already tiny tarted figurines, some kind of Therese Racan, not gay enough, not here enough, not her enough, bedazzled, but he bit him on the neck, so now in the yard and condemned, I guess, it's all wax and useless. Thank you.